All right. How can I improve my bench and DF maxes? I'm assuming DL. I'm assuming DL, dead F max, deadlift max. Trying to max them every week or how? No, you definitely don't max every fucking week. No, no, no. That's a slow progression. You don't max. You rarely max. I don't max. That's just me. I do not max. I never go to 1 rep max. I would recommend, if anything, doing like 3 or 4 rep maxes. It depends on really what your goal is, depends on your spotters. If you're doing a proper bench, like a proper bench max, you need 3 spotters. To really do it properly, you need 3 spotters if you don't want to fucking break your face. Because people think that having a spotter behind you is just magic. Most people don't know how to spot. That's not, spotting someone is not just, oh, let me just grab the bar. You need to really know what you're doing. Spotting that's proper form too. Because imagine if someone's lifting 300 pounds, what are you going to just catch it? There's no fucking way. You have to understand how to spot. And you really need multiple spotters. But improving your bench, that goes into a lot of detail that we don't really have time for. I can't really just say it out loud. But usually a proper periodization that will seesaw volume versus the intensity and the overload. And I would recommend a great way to break through sticking points are to do isometrics, and negatives is a great way to do it. But you gradually want to build towards a max over several weeks. You don't want to just do it every single week. But I generally personally never do 1 rep maxes. It's just not worth it. You're very, very well off doing 2, 3, or 4 rep max sets, because you can also approximate what your 1 rep max will be. Of course, if you are looking to do a 1 rep max for a competition, that's a whole different application. So it really depends on why. Why are you trying to improve your max? What is your goal? And then is a max even necessary? Because there is a risk reward for going to a 1 rep max. But I personally never go to a 1 rep max. Never. It's just not worth the risk. You're getting plenty of strength benefits from doing 3, 4 repetitions. Even a double is fine. And you can extrapolate approximately what your 1 rep max will be. There are plenty of tables that will approximate it. So if you look, okay, I'm doing this amount of weight for 4 reps, I will be able to do approximately XYZ for 1 rep, and it'll give you approximately how much weight that would lead to. But I don't recommend doing a 1 rep max, and you only do it once every several weeks or few months at least. Shane, oh, there you go. Perfect. When competing as a powerlifter, I only max once every 12 weeks when training. Yeah, maxing every week is ridiculous. Maxing every week is the quickest way to, one, not see progress and lose strength performance, and to hurt yourself. So not a good look. Not a good look. Let's see. Nick, I was doing 3 paused benches the other day, and a jabroni went and grabbed the bar. Like, bro, what the fuck? Oh, he thought you were struggling? Yeah, fuck that shit. Well, I mean, at least someone was watching you. I mean, I always like to see those videos. One, when you see in the gym, you see those videos where someone gets stuck and a guy runs over. But the problem is, like, why wasn't he there to begin with? If you're doing a set and you are in a position where you might not be able to get the bar up, like, you should have a spotter. Honestly, you should have a spotter all the time. You should never, ever, 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 ever bench by yourself. Now, of course, if I went to the gym, and I do go to the gym, I train here, but I have those arm supports and stuff like that. So in case I have to bail out, I could just drop the bar and I won't crush my chest or my neck. I won't drop it on my face. But the rule is really, if you're doing any kind of overhead like a squat, you should always have a spotter. Now, most people don't lift with a spotter, but for example, if you're very, 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 very strong and you're warming up with 135, you don't really need a spotter logically, but technically I'm not going to say, oh, you don't need a spotter. You shouldn't lift with a spotter. You should always lift with a spotter. That's like saying, check with your doctor. It's just logical. But of course, especially for the heaviest sets to failure is exactly that. Sets to failure. It doesn't even matter if it's higher repetitions. You're doing 135, you're going as heavy as you can. If you can't get it up, that's going to be really uncomfortable. One, you're going to either hurt yourself. And here's the thing, it might not be you're dropping it on your chest, but if your weight lands on your chest and you're like, oh shit, I have to get out, and you slide it over, you can tear your rotator cuff. You can hurt yourself. You can just hurt yourself. You could hurt something in your back because you twist to try to get the weight off you. There's a lot of different ways you can hurt yourself. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Shane says negatives. Yeah, if you can't bring it down your own, you can't fucking lift it. There's no way. Of course, if you're doing negatives, you're overloading the strongest type of contraction, the eccentric contraction. So that's a great way, but never do negatives. Never do negatives without a spotter. Absolutely, because that's more than you can lift. If you're overloading your eccentric, there's no way.